Hello everyone, this is Mayuki. In last video, we talked about how to explore the wormhole and introduce some gank and anti-gank knowledge in 2nd Galaxy. Today's video, I'm gonna focus on the PvP action, especially in wormhole and raid, and explain the video I record to show you guys how it works. As we all know, PvP content is deeper, more challenging, and more dynamic than PvE. We only need one set of configuration, but in the face of players, each of us has our own tactics intention, so when the config changes, the combat changes. It does not exist that you get a perfect config. The config that has advantages or certainly has disadvantages. So if you don't know how to make your config, I don't recommend you to do PvP action. I've killed people, I've been killed, and if you want to improve your PvP skills, blowing up ships is essential in some way. And one more thing, ships destroyed in PvP cannot be restored. Again, cannot be restored. Even if the corp has composition, but it's white rank limited. Therefore, as a novice, it is recommended to try PvP with white equipment at the beginning, because the loss of high rank items is relatively heavy. PvP related activities are highly rewarding and highly risky. Next, there are several places in the game where PvP is easy to happen. The first place is Wormhole. PvP is not allowed in the regulated space, but in the chaotic space it is allowed and there is no penalty. In Solar System, the high and low security galaxies are the same to the regulated and chaotic space of a wormhole. In high security, you can attack other players. In low security, your illegal actions such as attacking a player will bring the police. In lawless, attacking players are not punished. There are 4 important tags that can help you better understand the rules of PvP in low security galaxies as shown in the picture. First of all, PvP action will make you receive access restricted no matter where you are, which means you cannot cross the Stargate or to another galaxy, where you can warp to other planets in that SS. You can also warp to other area when you are in the wormhole. Do raid or start attacking player in low security, you get an illicit action tag. The police will chase you when you have it. If you attack someone with an illicit action tag, you get a justice tag, and you don't get any punishment for killing the criminal. All 3 of these tags have a countdown and will not keep for a long time. Not to mention the tag of contraband. How to transport contraband has been explained in detail in the previous video. The tag tells us that if you commit a crime, the threat to you from the normal neutral player goes up steeply. And once you start PvP, the player who counters after being attacked will also be access restricted. So in PvP, the principle is, first, if you start PvP on your own initiative, make sure you have the ability to escape and gank people. If you hit someone but you can't make sure you can kill them, it's meaningless, because you don't get anything and you instantly turn everyone around you into a potential enemy. Second, if we get attacked first, we also need to make sure that we are able to escape and whether we have gank item or not. If you get a warp disruptor, then you can fight back, because if you don't have gank ability, he will run if he can't beat you, and you can't trap him. But since you fight back, you will put yourself in a restricted state, and after the battle with him, you must be in bad status, so fighting back makes yourself dangerous. If you can escape and you have warp disruptor, then you can do that. If winning, best. If losing, wrong. A lot of novices start to fight with others and make himself dead. Let's move on to criminal level. If you are below 1, that's good. When you kill players or raid, the criminal level will continue to rise. There will be a misdemeanor tag when it's more than 1. Anyone can see the tag. If it's more than 5, you get a felon tag. And anyone can attack you, get a justice tag. If you help a felon player, such as give him buff or recover him, you will receive an illicit tag. Complete encounter quests can lower the criminal level. My advice is don't let it go over 5, because that will be very, very dangerous, for you have turned all neutral players into your enemies. The chaotic space of the wormhole is where PvP behavior often occurs, and there is no punishment for illegal action in the chaotic space. You tend to choose one from the PvP ability and the efficiency of clearing event in Wormhole, so the configuration here is quite variable. I want to emphasize that your style of play needs to be adjusted according to the config. Take my Blizzard for example, my current config 1, and you'll find that I don't have any PvP related items, but I still use it to explore chaotic space. This config will increase my wormhole exploring efficiency by having the strongest firepower. But with this config, I will not move closer to the player in the wormhole. I will usually retreat when the enemy moves closer to me, because generally speaking, even if you can fight back, but you do not have the ability to trap him, so even if he can't defeat you, he can warp away, and there is nothing you can do. But if he uses config that you unexpected, your situation would be very dangerous. In config 2, one energy recovery augmenter is replaced by a core stabilizer. This config sacrifices a bit of wormhole exploring efficiency, which greatly improves your survival rate when you are ganked in the wormhole. If you are a novice, this is recommended config, where you need to set safety range at 20 km. Or you can change the stabilizer to cover, getting further safety at the cost of some weapon range. In config 3, a railgun damage amplifier has been changed to another stabilizer, which gives me 3 points of warp stability. I will not be afraid to encounter a player in the wormhole. I can warp away if I can't beat him. I can also gank him or rob his cases that haven't been interacted. If PvP action happens, winning, I use my disruptor to trap him and get him killed. Losing, I run and warp away. But I didn't use a core cover. Why? Because it will lower my weapon range. The advantage of railgun is long range. When I sacrifice my ATK, that means I need to manually control my ship more to poke enemy from long range to reduce the damage I take while fight with NPC enemies in Wormhole. If it's config 1, then I can let auto fire control my ship. But in this config 3, much more manual control is required. And this config itself is more likely to gank player in Wormhole, so the efficiency of exploring Wormhole is decreased and the fight with NPC enemy is harder. In this way, it should be clear to you that your battle strategy is based on your config. If you copy my config 1, where you're gonna fight player in chaotic space and you blow up, then it's not the problem of config, it's not problem of you, understand? Raid is a very important part of the game. The rewards are very rich. For example, the reward of a dispatch fleet for 4 hours may be the same to raiding for 10 minutes, but the risk is also very big. Both in raid or any raid, they often lead to PvP action. First of all, there are many types of raid. You can raid players who are on missions, or you can raid dispatched fleets. Here, I only recommend to raid dispatched fleet that mines. And all of the other types, I don't recommend novices to raid because it's much more dangerous. The player you raided, they can warp when they get the hint. And the combat dispatch fleet, they have powerful fire and could fight back. But the mining fleet, just taking damage, they can't counter you, so that the risk become much lower. Next, I'm gonna talk about the way of raid in any raid. But before that, you need to know that my config is based on my ship and my wingman. Don't just copy my config because it might not suitable to you. What you need to copy is how I'm thinking and the theory behind that instead of the exactly same config. Then this is my battleship of RS, Worth. 3 L sniper railguns as weapon for long range attack, a thermal resistance disruptor, a long range warp disruptor, and an L shield generator as devices. LWD is for gank, shield generator is for survival. As for components, 2 railgun tracking enhancer for improving precision, 1 thermal resistance enhancer for improved thermal resistance, 1 nano core processor to boost max processor, and 1 warp core cover for any gank. This config, I used it to raid as well as any raid. Besides that, my wingman is the key of my firepower. He uses Disciple. Open them all, let's look at the Disciple's tactical component effect. Additional 25% damage when enemies shield below 40%. And we know that laser weapon is increasing damage as the attack keeps. Plus his tactical component, that damage, just imagine it. This is why I bring the thermal resistance disruptor, because he is my firepower instead of me. The following is a video of my raid and encountering a player to rescue his dispatch fleet. First of all, I am a battleship. My wingman is also a battleship, but he is a battlecruiser, in which case it is unwise that he starts the PvP. The reason I switched to strategic view is because I want to make sure I stay away from the battleships in his dispatch fleet, because getting too close will trigger their attack on me. I'm lucky here, it's just me and him fighting 1 vs 1. The battle was soon over. He couldn't run after I used Warp Disruptor to him, and the damage from the laser was very high, especially when I used Thermal Resistant Disruptor. Finally, I blow up his ship with my SD. This shows the importance of Warp Stabilizer. He can only die when he can't defeat enemy and also Warp Disrupted. There's no way for escape. But it's not over. I'm greedy and I want to attack his battleship after destroying his industrial ship, which is very dangerous. You will find the number 2 battleship starts attacking to me. Fortunately, I killed the first battleship quickly, but I've used my SD and shield generator. Their CD is very long. Just after this, he comes again with battleship. This time, I need to run away. I choose one planet to warp, and you can see he is battleship, his wingman is battleship, and another 2 dispatched battleships. One of them is attacking me. 4 battleships. This is why I don't recommend you to raid Bonnie dispatch fleet. That was close. I survived. Even if he chases me now, I can still warp to another planet. All I need to do now is avoid fighting. Then I can go back to station when the restricted time is over. In this case, if I didn't install the warp stabilizer and he uses warp disruptor to me, and I would die. Therefore, you want a PvP, you better use warp stabilizer, or the only thing you can do is regretting when you want to warp away. In solar system, especially out of space station, is very dangerous, because through the tag we know that the person who starts the PvP will receive criminal tag, and if you're a criminal, other players can attack you without any punishment. Additionally, space station is where people gather at. That means once you start the PvP, all of the neutral players might attack you without restriction. And if you are in bad situation after combat with someone, another guy can attack you on the sneak. So we always warp to another planet waiting for the restriction countdown. Unless you are in a team, there will often be 2 or 3 player teams attacking neutral players outside the station. For such a team, if you still need to stay on the space station, my advice is to undock by choosing a mission from the space station, and then go out and start warping directly. When we return to base after the quest, we also choose to go to the station directly with the 10 seconds warp protection effect after the warp. We are generally unable to be attacked. Don't hang around outside the space station, you'll just become their loot. So what I'm going to show you is a battle near the Stargate. I had just returned from a raid, fighting him here waiting for something. And as you can see, I have the criminal tag, he has the justice tag, and he probably just killed a player after his raid. I looked at him, I saw that it was the same ship as mine. Alright, I'm happy to be the Mr. Right you're waiting. While my wingman is in standby, I click to summon him, then activate auto fire and lock on him. The battle begins. Use Warp Disruptor to let him stay. Thermal Resistant Disruptor reduces his thermal resistance, not to mention that RS ship is originally afraid of thermal damage. He didn't even call his wingman. We see some people passing through the Stargate, and players here we also need to watch out. One more round laser and he will blow up. At this time comes a few neutral players. I quickly choose a place to hide. If you can't see any celestial objects in the list, you can check the filter to tag it. Finally, we can return to base when the countdown is over. Alright, this is today's video, and this is the final part of the second Galaxy tutorial series. Please like and subscribe if it helps you, and welcome to watch other parts. This is Mayuki, see you next time.